birthplace of radio's greatest era. Live from New York, it's Radio Night Live with Kevin McCullough.
Wait, who?
Kevin McCullough, let me start with you.
Huh?
The big dog, Kevin McCullough.
And Kevin McCullough.
No, who?
Nationally syndicated radio host and author of No He Can't.
Who? Kevin McCullough?
Kevin McCullough is a nationally syndicated radio host and author of No He Can't.
What?
Barack Obama's Dismantling Hope and Change and CEO of Extreme Media.
Oh.
Well, welcome to Saturday. It is a big boss night. We've got a huge show for you tonight. Breaking news, exclusives, and we have got Vince Gill and Mickey Guyton in a duet later this hour. You do not want to miss on the New Music Spotlight stage. We've got a lot to get to. Kevin McCullough's my name. Welcome to the biggest, baddest Saturday night broadcast in all of America. It's more radio stations, more TV outlets, Biz TV, Salem News Channel. Thank you for everyone that's picking this up, and those of you that are considering it in the weeks ahead, we appreciate you as well. We've got a lot to get to tonight. In fact, Nick, let's just go right to that big board right away, because I've got so much to let you know about. You do not want to miss a single bit of this. Now, to the far left of your screen there, that is John Solomon. He is the guy that started JustTheNews.com, and we have got an inside scoop tonight. Hunter Biden, more details about his involvement in Ukraine. And when you consider the fact that we are now dealing with an international crisis with Ukraine and Russia, this all matters. So we've got to get this straight. He's gonna bring that to us tonight. Lora Ries is going to be with us. She is going to be talking about why the Biden administration is saying that parents who show up at school board meetings are domestic terrorists. Yeah, I don't think it's very fair either, but she's going to explain what's going on there and how we can fight back. We've got Nicole Sapphire. We're doing a wellness edition of the Ladies Lounge tonight. She is raving mad about some of the stuff that's going on and why the people that claim they are of science are not following science, and she's got the receipts to prove it, folks, so you stick around. And then before we're done, we're coming back to Russia and Ukraine. KT McFarland, what is Putin trying to do? He met with some groups this week. He met with Hungary, he met with some other people, and when he came out of all those meetings, like, me not very happy. And so what would make him happy? She's going to explain some of that to us. And then, as I said, Vince Gill, the longtime crooner in country music, and Mickey Guyton in the first hour together. He's doing solo in the second hour on the Music Spotlight stage. We've got a lot to get to, as I have been telling you. Now, you know that the Olympics started this week, right? Well, you may not have, because NBC didn't send anybody over there. I mean, they're carrying it. They've got the Peacock Network and NBC and CNBC and whatever else they own, all the little sub channels. They've got all them working, and they're carrying the events and so forth. But they're not actually there. They don't have people on the ground. And when you understand how the Chinese are treating some of the journalists involved, you may figure out why. Take a look to a live broadcast that the Netherlands were airing just 2 nights ago, or 1 night ago. Take a look at what happened to their live on-the-scene reporter. Nick, roll that piece of tape that we've got.
A-shortje staat vlakbij het stadion. Wat gaat China de komende uren
I recognize the word stadium. That was cool. For those of you listening by way of radio, this is very confusing. But what was on the screen was the police officer from the or some special agent from the CCP actually interrupting the live stand-up broadcast that the reporter was doing back to the studio back in the Netherlands. So he's reporting. She goes, "Let's go to the stadium." And they're out there, and he's doing his report, and he's giving it to them, and he's telling them what it is and so forth. And all of a sudden, here comes this guy from the CCP out of nowhere. Boom. He's like literally like trying to tackle him and take him down so that he can't do his report. Now, why he was doing that, we're very unclear about. I don't know what the substance of the report was. I don't have any idea what he was actually saying. But at the Chinese personalities. They're trying to take them down and actually not allow them to report whatever it was they were afraid that they were going to report. I don't even know how he knew what the Dutch reporter was going to report. But take a look at it one more time. Let's see if we can get the video on the screen from the beginning, because this is really instructive here. She throws it to him live, and then watch what happens.
Het staat vlakbij het stadion. Wat gaat China de komende uren laten zien?
Ja. 咱们呀往前走，哥们儿。哎，稍等一会儿，我现在新闻联播。Ja, we worden hier inmiddels, je merkt het, al weggetrokken. We zijn net ook al bij een ander gebied weggezet. Dus ik vrees dat wij later even bij je moeten terugkomen. Dat kan halen, ja.
Dat denk ik ook, Sjoerd.
And if we stay with it all the way to the end there, you see an actual another agent come up and try to take the cameraman away. And then the anchor is basically left with nothing but she's like, what? And I don't speak Dutch. I have no idea what she's saying, but she actually is just end up like having to sit there. Well, play this all the way through to the end. You see, we're just going to go back to the studio. There's no live report. We can't talk to our guy, and we hope that he's not in some Chinese jail somewhere, rotting for the rest of his life. Who knows what they were going to report? Now, this is interesting, coming on the very tail tips of Nancy Pelosi yesterday saying to the athletes of the American team, "Oh, please don't make waves with the Chinese government, because we don't want you guys to get in trouble. This is not the time to take a stand, blah, blah, blah. Because, the Chinese government could be so cruel. I would hate to imagine what they would do with you." She actually said those words. So I'm thinking to myself, then why the heck are we even there? Why are we in Beijing participating in these games? We've boycotted Olympics in the past because of the principle of the thing, right? The principle. We've said, nope, that's not what we're going to do. We're not going to be part of that. We're not going to have anything to do with it because we stand on values and virtues that are different from the communist, atheistic, whatever it is that they're embracing. We've said that. So why are we there? Why is this team participating in the games in China when they are actively, making the Uyghurs their subservient underclass, when they are actually doing all that they can to suppress free speech, when, an NBA player says, hey, they're not treating their people with dignity and fairness, then you have LeBron James coming out and go, oh, well, you got to be more kind to the communist Chinese. And why are we doing this? Is it because our president and our ruling class, the Democratic Party, who has a 1-vote difference in the Senate and 5-vote difference in the House, because they are playing footsies with the communists all the time and they don't want to lose their good favor? If it's bad enough that Nancy Pelosi has to come to us and say, I don't want my athletes to put themselves in harm's way, why are they even in the country? That's the bigger issue that we're not addressing that we should be. That's the real problem. But play this clip one more time. This is really instructive. She throws, and you hear her say the word stadium, which is, by the Olympic Stadium. And when he goes, then you see the Red Army just press in.
Wat gaat China de komende uren laten zien?
Ja.
Here he comes. Get off of here. No. You have to go. You have to go. Now watch. So the camera pulls out. The camera's pulling out. And then all of a sudden, here comes another one. Right up to the camera guy. Oh, we're taking your thing down too. Guess what, guy? And she's like, what?
Dan gaan we inderdaad door met het volgende.
Yeah, whatever that was in Dutch, it's like, we can't have this feed now. We are done with this report. This report will not happen. It does not make sense to me. And it's bad. And this is a very good measure of all of it, actually. It's bad if NBC, the godless, hopeless, feckless, worthless network that NBC is, if they have kept their people in Connecticut this week to report on the Olympics remotely, hoping to have, firsthand people leaking them information so that they can say, oh, so-and-so won the gold, and now we have a report, and we just put it all together in Hartford or wherever it is they're broadcasting from, and they're not actually there. Why are our athletes there? Why did we countenance these games, these genocidal games being held in a genocidal country? The country of China is a genocidal, godless, anti-human, anti-dignity, anti-human rights, lost world. And Chairman Xi doesn't like me saying that. But you know what, Chairman Xi? Come and get me. I'm in the land of freedom, and I'm also a gun owner. Have your way. All right, Kevin McCullough, we got a lot to get to. Coming up next, John Solomon with an exclusive on something that Hunter Biden did in relationship to Ukraine that matters now. We're coming right back. It's Radio Night Live. Don't go away.
To theaters January 21st, Redeeming Love.
Hop on one of those ships and sail away.
Why don't you think about where we would go?
Far.
I was just thinking about my mother. Shattered.
You are not here.
What's your pleasure, mister?
The truth is, I didn't come here for that.
You have been broken, your innocence.
Redeeming Love, based on the best-selling novel by Francine Rivers.
That's Angel, finest girl west of the Rockies.
A life-changing story of the power of relentless love and perseverance. Redeeming Love shows there is no brokenness love can't heal.
That way is home. Your choice.
Redeeming Love. Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. In theaters January 21st. Go to redeeminglovemovie.com.
Hi, Kevin McCullough. You've heard us talk about the amazing offer that MyPillow is offering you right now, right? Only $34.99 a pillow. That's the lowest price ever offered on radio TV. When you get a 2-pack of MyPillow Premiums for only $69.98, ever since I've been sleeping on my MyPillow, I don't get interrupted sleep anymore. I don't have to worry about folding my pillow in half or stacking up a whole bunch of lifeless pillows underneath it to give me the right support. Comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty, and it's made in the USA. Do you have a pillow that comes with a 10-year warranty? Get a 2-pack of MyPillow Premiums for $69.98 right now. That's only $34.99 per pillow, which again is the lowest price ever offered on radio or TV. This offer is only available at MyPillow.com or when you call 800-506-2641. That's 800-506-2641. Promo code KMC. 800-506-2641. And use the promo code KMC.
Brand new from beloved author Ivan Quinones comes a new children's book, Magnificent Ian and the Secret Lab, available now in paperback or Kindle from the Amazon Marketplace. One satisfied parent said, "The story is quite intriguing. The way it develops leaves you waiting for the next adventure. Magnificent Ian is such a fun book. I would highly recommend it for children grades 2 through 5. Another said, "I barely got the book out of the package and my son immediately grabbed it and ran off to read it." In Magnificent Ian and the Secret Lab, Ian finds a secret lab in the middle of an active volcanic island, run by a crazy scientist who tasks him with widening a secret tunnel. There's suspense, action, adventure, and a lesson about integrity. Available now on the Amazon Marketplace and the Amazon Kindle store. Magnificent Ian and the Secret Lab from author Ivan Quinones in paperback and Kindle form. Get your copy today. Magnificent Ian and the Secret Lab.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I ended up getting a cold after Thanksgiving, and usually it always goes to my chest. Not even a usually, it just always goes to my chest, and I end up having to go to the doctor. This time I took 9 of the Balance of Nature for 2 days, and it totally cleared up. I was very impressed because every time I've gotten a cold for the past 5 years, it goes into my chest. And it didn't. It cleared up right away.
Don't wait to see what getting over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables every day can do for you. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order of fruits and veggies. Start your journey to better health today by calling 1-800-2468-751 or by going to balanceofnature.com and make sure to receive this special radio offer by using discount code KMC.
From New York, back to Radio Night Live. Here's Kevin McCullough.
All right, Kevin McCullough, very glad to have you with us. I love to have my next guest on because he is always talking about stories ahead of everyone else. He finds out what's going on. He reports it. He has his sources down. He knows exactly what is going on. And that's why John Solomon is synonymous with just the news, because that's what he does. And John Solomon, a longtime friend of Kevin McCullough Radio. John, welcome back. Always good to have you. It's good to have you here. It's good to run into you on the Cats at Night show and other places that we mingle together. But thanks for always coming back. So we've been talking a lot about Ukraine in the last few weeks, and I thought a number of weeks ago, it's interesting that here is where the test for Joe Biden's coming internationally, considering the laptop, considering the history of Joe Biden forcing their hand and actually bribing them in terms of a prosecutor that they would or would not keep installed. And guess what? You're uncovering more Biden-Ukraine connectedness that may be playing right into the very situation that we're talking about today. How does Hunter fit into this?
Well, first off, let's remind folks that the two times that Joe Biden has been in charge of Ukraine policy, when he was the vice president under Barack Obama, Russia invaded Ukraine and went into Crimea. He's now president, again, in charge of Ukraine policy, and Russia's threatening to go into Ukraine again. They never made such a threat in the 4 years of Donald Trump. Why? Because there was a clarity of policy and foreign policy that it would not be tolerated.
Right.
Joe Biden's foreign policy is so mishy-mashy, particularly after the failed and bungled Afghan withdrawal, that most of our enemies, not just Russia, but China and others, they're all acting up because they don't feel like there's going to be a consequence, and Joe Biden can't back it up. But part of the reason that Ukraine becomes more complicated is that Joe Biden said he was the guy coming to Ukraine to clean up corruption. And while he was doing that, his son scammed his way into a job. In fact, he actually gets the job during a trip that Joe Biden is visiting Ukraine. They closed the deal for Hunter Biden to join this Burisma company. This Burisma company, at the moment Hunter Biden is joining its board, is just beginning to face a major corruption investigation in Ukraine. For 2 years, while Joe Biden is overseeing the corruption fight in Ukraine, Hunter Biden's on Burisma making $3+ million to his company from being payments for being a board member. That's a healthy sum of money. And the company, according to State Department records we got under FOIA, is paying bribes to get the Ukrainian prosecutors to drop the cases. So engaging in the very corruption. Now, we laid that all out. That's what came out in the impeachment trial. And the Democrat story was, well, listen, no harm, no foul. Yeah, there was the appearance of a conflict of interest, but Hunter Biden didn't really impact any of the U.S. policy objectives. That was the testimony given. Yesterday, I obtained a classified email, one that has been kept from the impeachment investigators, Donald Trump's lawyers, and from Just the News, which sued for just this very type of document. And in it, one of the top officials in the Ukraine embassy for the United States, a guy named George Kent, who was famous. He was the guy with the bow tie. He was a star witness of the Democrats' impeachment hearing. He says in a written email on November 22nd, someone should go tell Vice President Joe Biden his son undercut our anti-corruption efforts in Ukraine, because Joe Biden was saying, don't be corrupt in Ukraine, and his son was affiliated with a company that had such widespread corruption it was almost laughable. That document was kept from the American public all these years, including from the impeachment trial 2 years ago. It just comes out now. There was a harm and there was a foul of Hunter Biden being on this board. It undercut our objectives in trying to root out corruption in Ukraine.
So the big picture is Hunter directly worked against the interests of the United States.
That's what this email says. Why? Because he was willing to affiliate with a company that was known to be corrupt, that engaged in corrupt actions while he was on the board. Now, I'm not saying Hunter Biden approved the bribes. No one says that. But he's on the board. He has a fiduciary responsibility. The State Department detects not one, but 2 times that Burisma makes a bribe. And in fact, in Kent's email, he cites that as one of the many reasons that this undercut the policy. Ukrainians are listening to Joe Biden saying, don't be corrupt, and they're watching his son work for a corrupt company who's engaging in corruption. The company's engaging in corruption while Joe Biden is preaching the opposite. And I think that's what undercut the U.S. objectives.
Well, and then, so help me put this into context. So Hunter's doing that. And then Joe visits as the sitting vice president and says, if you change out the prosecutor, we're not going to give you the $1 billion in aid. And they decided against making that move because they wanted to get the $1 billion in aid, and he was ready to take it away. John, this looks criminal. In fact, looks a lot more criminal than anything they ever accused the previous president of.
Yep. Well, let's take that second part of it, which was the very first story I broke at the Hill that started this scandal in 2019 that led to impeachment and all that. The storyline by Joe Biden has always been, yeah, I fired the guy. It had nothing to do with the fact that the prosecutor was looking at my son's company. Everybody in the United States government had agreed for months before Joe Biden, went in and fired the guy that he was incompetent, maybe corrupt himself, and he shouldn't have been in the job. Everybody, he said. It was a government-wide thing. In fact, all the impeachment witnesses said this. I surfaced the memo on Monday, the day before the email that I told you about yesterday. In this document, which I won under the Freedom of Information Act, the very people who testified that this prosecutor was corrupt and had to go actually wrote the prosecutor just before he was fired saying, you're doing a good job. We're actually impressed with your corruption fight. A few months later, they actually recommend that Ukraine get that $1 billion money because, in fact, the prosecutor had made enough reforms. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, Joe Biden comes up and does the opposite and says, no, we're not. You're going to have to fire that guy or you're not getting your money. Now, what changed between the time of those documents I made public on Monday and when Joe Biden goes in December and says, you got to fire the guy? One thing. The New York Times in December of 2015 embarrassed Joe Biden by saying Hunter Biden's presence on the board was making a mockery of Joe Biden's effort to fight corruption. Biden got upset. Now the question is, was that the trigger? Because everything leading up to that shows the opposite. They were telling this guy he was doing a good job and Ukraine deserved the money. All of a sudden, there's a sudden reversal. Why?
That's the $1 billion question, I guess, at the end of the day.
Literally.
John, so put this into some sort of context for us. Let's say that what the email you've made public today had the audacity to get picked up by mainstream press and it got some actual story behind it. Is there criminal wrongdoing involved here? Is there something that is of such a scandalous nature that it should be brought up to the president in a press conference or the next time that he's taking questions?
Listen, the single most important thing that people expect of the president is that he be honest with them. The story that Joe Biden and the House Democrats during impeachment and Hunter Biden and all of the Biden defenders gave us for 2.5 years now has been stripped bare. It is not true. It is demonstrably false. So the first question is, Mr. President, you all told us that everyone wanted this guy fired. Why was that letter sent? Why is George Kent saying your son undercut things when you keep saying your son did nothing wrong? Why those things? Will anyone in the mainstream media do that? Probably not, but those are the questions.
John, always a pleasure to have you. Thank you for doing what you're doing, because without your efforts, we're not able to get the truth out there. And, doing the backlog that you do, that's where all the icing is made, so to speak. So, John, thanks so much.
Very kind of you.
You got it.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, take care.
Kevin McCullough coming right back. Don't go away.
These troubling times, civil unrest, spiking crime rates, and restrictive gun laws put us all at risk.
One feels unsafe just walking down the sidewalk. So what if there was a form of personal protection that did not require waiting periods, permits, or background checks? Small enough to carry concealed in a purse or a jacket, but powerful enough to stop an assailant. Introducing the Byrna HD, the non-lethal self-protection device that buys you valuable time in an unsafe situation. With a 5-round magazine, the Byrna HD fires the Byrna Max payload, a 68 caliber projectile loaded with pepper and tear gas irritant, disabling an assailant from being able to breathe freely or see clearly for up to several minutes. The CO2-powered launcher is accurate up to 60 feet. It's about the size of a 9mm and has a dual-handed safety valve. Ideal for men and women and safe for everyone, it's backed by a 60-day risk-free guarantee. Go to Byrna.com/KMC for all the latest discounts and specials. That's BYRNA.com/KMC. Hi, Kevin McCullough. You've heard us talk about the amazing offer that MyPillow is offering you right now, right? Only $34.99 a pillow. That's the lowest price ever offered on radio TV. When you get a 2-pack of MyPillow Premiums for only $69.98, ever since I've been sleeping on my MyPillow, I don't get interrupted sleep anymore. I don't have to worry about folding my pillow in half or stacking up a whole bunch of lifeless pillows underneath it to give me the right support. Comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty, and it's made in the USA. Do you have a pillow that comes with a 10-year warranty? Get a 2-pack of MyPillow Premiums for $69.98 right now. That's only $34.99 per pillow, which again is the lowest price ever offered on radio or TV. This offer is only available at MyPillow.com or when you call 800-506-2641. That's 800-506-2641. Promo code KMC. 800-506-2641. And use the promo code KMC. Hi, Kevin McCullough. You wouldn't dare build a house or a building of any kind without a blueprint, and you shouldn't invest your money without a plan either. My friends at Landmark Capital specialize in tailor-made portfolios for each customer called Your Financial Blueprint. Landmark Capital can show you how to diversify your portfolio and put some of it into physical precious metals, gold and silver, that help protect your portfolio in the ups and downs. And it also gives you the right to hold them in your IRA, in your possession, or your 401k. Taking physical possession today, it's 100% legal, and it's 100% doable right now. You probably have never seen this idea before, but you need to check it out. Get a free financial analysis called Your Financial Blueprint, and find out how to put precious metals in your hands tax deductible. Their process is easy. Call the Landmark team at 844-604-2575. That's 844-604-2575.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm very, very athletic. I play ice hockey 2 or 3 days a week. You know, I'm in good shape for my age. You know, I keep up with the young kids, but, you know, I get tired. Muscles get sore. I'm achy. So I noticed just by taking this product for a month, I'm not as tired as I used to be or fatigued. Muscles feel good. I feel like my stamina is better than it was. I just feel better than I did, and I wasn't really complaining before.
Don't wait to see what getting over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables every day can do for you. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order of fruits and veggies. Start your journey to better health today by calling 1-800-2468-751 or by going to balanceofnature.com, and make sure to receive this special radio offer by using discount code KMC.
Back to Radio Night Live. Here's Kevin McCullough.
All right, Kevin McCullough, very glad to have you with us. You know, there's a lot of different areas of policy that if we just took the time to try to research them and see what they meant to the life of average Americans, a bunch of things that the president has done since being in office might not bubble up to the top of the radar screen. But when we talk terrorism in the age of post 9/11, that always gets my attention. And that's one of the reasons why Lora Ries and Giancarlo Canaparo's new piece at the Heritage Foundation is so important. A commentary titled "Biden's New Domestic Terrorism Unit Bad for Freedom-Loving Americans," and Lora Ries, who is the director of Center for Technology Policy and a fellow research fellow on the issue of terrorism for the Heritage Foundation, joins us. Lora, I don't think we've ever had you on the show before, but I appreciate you making time for us today. Why exactly do you say that his domestic terrorism unit is bad for freedom-loving Americans?
Well, there's a couple aspects to this. One, the Biden administration is wrongly prioritizing terrorism threats to our country. The Biden administration is focusing on domestic terrorism, particularly around groups that have, or individuals who act based on a racial animus or anti-government or anti-authority animus. And so they are using the anniversary of January 6th to keep that emphasis and that prioritization going and justified. And they are continuing their focus on school board meetings and parents who attend them, along with anyone who opposes COVID mandates and response. And so
it sounds more to me, Lora, like they're talking about people that just disagree with them, as opposed to actual terror groups that are targeting Americans for destruction. Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely right. And that's why this is frightening. So that same week, the president came out and said, if anyone disagreed with federalizing election law, then they were on the side of Bull Connor and George Wallace. The very next day, in terms of COVID, he said, we need big tech to censor more misinformation regarding COVID. Now, those seem like very disparate ideas, but what it shows is the Biden administration and the left, using big tech as an arm of government, want to take political speech, whether it's partisan or not, that disagrees with the left's narrative and silence it, using and create this domestic terrorism unit to emphasize, we're focusing on this, we're going to be prosecuting more cases on domestic terrorism. And so opponents get in line.
It seems to me that simple disagreement with the administration is not something that can be tolerated from a group of people that supposedly value tolerance and want it to be, championed throughout all aspects of American life, supposedly. But beyond that, Laura, these levels of dispute with people that disagree with them seem to be taking rhetoric to a level that I don't remember in my lifetime, and I've been following, presidents since Nixon. I don't remember us talking about fellow Americans in this way from the White House.
No, this is very divisive. And, Joe Biden, like many politicians before him, ran on being a so-called uniter. But the left continues to show a pattern of looking for any source of division that they can use to divide Americans, whether it's race or masking or vaccination or election beliefs, and the list goes on. And they use it every chance they get. They ask big tech to label such content misinformation, and therefore that content needs to be come down. Those users need to lose their accounts. And then now we're seeing big tech say, well, and the left, you've had your account taken down or you've had content taken down. Therefore, you are a bad actor and you should be shunned based on that purpose.
Well, and it seems as though they're asking everyone to do their work for them. So they're asking big tech to control speech. They asked OSHA and other executive departments to basically enforce COVID policy. The courts have weighed in, at least on the OSHA mandate. Do you think that there's any recourse in any of these other instances through the courts? Will there be lawsuits? Are people going to push back against this?
Yes, there seems to be a growing number of lawsuits, particularly with respect to big tech on a number of fronts. And then meanwhile, we have alternative technologies, social media platforms like Rumble and Getter, etc., being developed for people to use with more confidence that they're not going to be have their content removed or lose their account.
Lora Ries, thanks you for your time today.
Thank you.
You got it. Kevin McCullough, don't go anywhere.
Coming to theaters January 21st, Redeeming Love.
Topple one of those ships and sail away.
Why don't you think about where we would go?
Far.
I was just thinking about my mother. Shattered.
You are not here.
What's your pleasure, mister?
Truth is, I didn't come here for that.
You have been broken, your innocence.
Redeeming Love, based on the best-selling novel by Francine Rivers.
That's Angel, finest girl west of the Rockies.
A life-changing story of the power of relentless love and perseverance. Redeeming Love shows there is no brokenness love can't heal.
That way is home. Your choice.
Redeeming Love. Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. In theaters January 21st. Go to redeeminglovemovie.com.
Brand new from beloved author Ivan Quinones comes a new children's book, Magnificent Ian and the Secret Lab. Available now in paperback or Kindle from the Amazon Marketplace. One satisfied parent said, "The story is quite intriguing. The way it develops leaves you waiting for the next adventure. Magnificent Ian is such a fun book. I would highly recommend it for children grades 2 through 5. Another said, "I barely got the book out of the package and my son immediately grabbed it and ran off to read it." In Magnificent Ian and the Secret Lab, Ian finds a secret lab in the middle of an active volcanic island, run by a crazy scientist who tasks him with widening a secret tunnel. There's suspense, action, adventure, and a lesson about integrity. Available now on the Amazon Marketplace and the Amazon Kindle store. Magnificent Ian and the Secret Lab from author Ivan Quinones in paperback and Kindle form. Get your copy today. Magnificent Ian and the Secret Lab.
In these troubling times, civil unrest, spiking crime rates, and restrictive gun laws put us all at risk. One feels unsafe just walking down the sidewalk. So what if there was a form of personal protection that did not require waiting periods, permits, or background checks? Small enough to carry concealed in a purse or a jacket, but powerful enough to stop an assailant. Introducing the Byrna HD, the non-lethal self-protection device that buys you valuable time in an unsafe situation. With a 5-round magazine, the Byrna HD fires the Byrna Max payload, a 68 caliber projectile loaded with pepper and tear gas irritant, disabling an assailant from being able to breathe freely or see clearly for up to several minutes. The CO2-powered launcher is accurate up to 60 feet. It's about the size of a 9mm and has a dual-handed safety valve. Ideal for men and women and safe for everyone, it's backed by a 60-day risk-free guarantee. Go to Byrna.com/KMC for all the latest discounts and specials. That's BYRNA.com.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I haven't heard any negative feedback from any of my patients who have been taking the product. I look at Balance of Nature and I look what it's doing for me as I've started taking it, and for the patients that I have that are taking it, it's been phenomenal.
In my practice, I was getting to the point where I couldn't have the strength to see that many patients anymore, and I was introduced to the fruits and veggies. Just slowly, my strength started to come back, and it was because of the good nutrition. I can't say enough good for Balance of Nature and what it's done for me. I recommend it to everybody.
Don't wait to see what getting over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables can do for you. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order of fruits and veggies. Start your journey to better health today by calling 1-800-2468-751 or by going to balanceofnature.com and use discount code KMC.
And now, back to Radio Night Live. Once again, Kevin McCullough.
All right, Kevin McCullough, glad you're here. I've teased at this in the past, but anytime that my producer has the audacity to book a former Philadelphia Eagle on my show, I don't know how to deal with that, truly. I mean, I live in Giants country, and I grew up a Cowboy fan, and I just don't know how you deal with former Philadelphia Eagles, except to say that we were glad that he moved on to St. Louis and then Kansas City, eventually moving out of the NFC altogether. I'm talking about Coach Dick Vermeil, who joins us to discuss a film that is coming to digital release in just another week and going to be a great addition to your home digital library if you do not have it. It's called American Underdog. Coach Dick Vermeil, welcome. Kevin McCullough, glad to have you.
Kevin, nice to be with you and nice to talk about Kurt Warner and the movie.
I cannot tell you, though, before we get to that, how many Sundays you ruined in my household growing up. At least twice a year, there was just like this biting of the nails. Will Dick Vermeil and his Eagles kill our Cowboys? And you had more than your share of victory on that front. And thanks for the indigestion and pain that you gave us on Sunday afternoons. I'm really grateful for it.
Well, I'm going to tease you a little bit because it took me 4 years to beat him one time, 1979. With Tom Landry, you didn't beat him often, even sometimes when you were better, because he was such a great coach, one of the finest coaches in the history of the game.
Yeah.
So,
well, and that franchise has not seen anything like him, to be candid, since then. So that's a whole different conversation. Coach, let me ask you, when you first saw Kurt Warner walk into your life, did you anticipate that he was going to be able to do what he ended up being able to do, which was really one of the greatest stories in NFL folklore?
No, I was not close in evaluating him at that level. Not really. I gave him an opportunity because I was requested by a friend to sign him. If we signed him, we could send him to the NFL Europe team that he was coaching and then bring him back to our camp and give him an opportunity to compete for a quarterback job. And he won the quarterback job as our third quarterback in 1998, which is really not included in the movie. They didn't have in time, in a 2-hour movie to include that. And they did a nice job of transitioning into the 99 season. But no, by 99, I thought he could play. I didn't know he could play as well as he did.
Yeah. Well, he really came on late for a newbie in the league, and he caught fire quickly. What do you attribute his success to? And it certainly wasn't because he got an early jump on everybody else.
I think it was persistence, a faith in himself, a belief, and he just hung with it. He didn't start until his senior year in college, okay? And then he goes into the Arena League and he uses that as a tool. And I think it was also a great preparation source for him in learning how to get rid of the ball quickly in those tight quarters and those playing inside a building. And I think that helped him. And then, he went to Green Bay and didn't make it, started over, I just think his persistence and belief that he could, and his continual work on a year-round basis, he honed his skills. And of course, he had innate ability that nobody recognized, maybe not even him.
Yeah.
Because a lot of guys can look really good on the practice field and in workouts and all that kind of stuff. And I used to say that. I've said it many times in my career. Well, he looks good on the practice field, but chances are he can't do that in front of 70,000 people, and chances are he did it right, okay? He went beyond what we saw on the practice field once given the opportunity in big games. And nobody has ever done it before, and nobody will ever do it again. And that's why the movie has such depth to it. It's a lot more than just a football story.
Yeah.
It's really a life-challenging story, relationship story. And everybody that's talked to me that's seen it, I get calls all the time. They loved the movie. They left with tears in their eyes. I'm not talking about football people. So I have no problem selling the value of watching this movie beyond just football.
Yeah. Let me ask you, to see Dennis Quaid take on your character, how'd that make you feel?
What I really appreciated, Kevin, in the short conversation, maybe 15 minutes with the writer and producer of the movie, I told him I could remember a couple exact conversations with Kurt, and they actually used almost word for word twice in the movie what I said within those conversations. So that made me feel good. That didn't happen on the movie Invincible with Vince Papale. That didn't happen. But Dennis Quaid did it, and people think he played you. And I says, I don't know how I looked to other people. Probably better job of being me than I did.
Yeah. Well, and I think there's certainly a component to this story that's very important to Kurt, and it spoke to a little bit as to why he was even in the situation that he was. Kurt Warner is a man of principle and a man of deep faith, and he tried to prioritize things in his life that he felt were more eternally important than maybe temporally. And I'm curious, as his coach, did that kind of maturity lend itself to leadership qualities on the field?
Oh, no question it did. You know, there are a lot of fine athletes that don't do as well as they should have done because they lack something within their profile as a person, as a player, and not so much in character, but a deep intrinsic or instinctive way to handle himself under pressure.
Yeah.
You know, but I often use this comparison. You know, we've had a number of people in military battles win the Medal of Honor, and no one expected them to. There's something inside it that makes them do what they do better than anybody else can do it. And that's what Kurt was all about. You know, you didn't expect him to do what he did, and he did it beyond expectations, maybe even of himself. You know, who goes from being the most valuable player on the scout team, running an offense against your defense, okay, each week in preparation, to the most valuable player in the league? It's never been done before.
Well, and secured himself a spot in the Hall of Fame, most deservedly, and had, you know, not nearly as long of a career as some of the quarterback names that, you know, are going to be there. So that means he had to make the most of the time that he had, which is kind of, again, how he lived his life up till that point. While the sun's burning, I got to get stuff done.
Yeah. Well, he had a great support staff in Brendan who believed in it. And there's that whole story within the movie prior to the final part of the movie, him playing in the Super Bowl. She was a big contributor to the depth of his commitment, I think, and it's really played well in the movie.
Dick Vermeil, longtime successful coach, 3 different franchises, big winner on all levels of the game. Appreciate your time with us today.
All right, Kevin, thank you very much.
Coming to theaters January 21st, Redeeming Love.
Hop on one of those ships and sail away.
Why don't you think about where we would go?
Far.
I was just thinking about my mother. Shattered.
You are not here.
What's your pleasure, mister?
The truth is, I didn't come here for the bad.
You have been broken, your innocence.
Redeeming Love, based on the best-selling novel by Francine Rivers.
That's Angel, finest girl west of the Rockies.
A life-changing story of the power of relentless love and perseverance. Redeeming Love shows there is no brokenness love can't heal.
That way is home. Your choice.
Redeeming Love. Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. In theaters January 21st. Go to redeeminglovemovie.com.
Hi, Kevin McCullough. You've heard us talk about the amazing offer that MyPillow is offering you right now, right? Only $34.99 a pillow. That's the lowest price ever offered on radio TV. When you get a 2-pack of MyPillow Premiums for only $69.98, ever since I've been sleeping on my MyPillow, I don't get interrupted sleep anymore. I don't have to worry about folding my pillow in half or stacking up a whole bunch of lifeless pillows underneath it to give me the right support. Comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty, and it's made in the USA. Do you have a pillow that comes with a 10-year warranty? Get a 2-pack of MyPillow Premiums for $69.98 right now. That's only $34.99 per pillow, which again is the lowest price ever offered on radio or TV. This offer is only available at MyPillow.com or when you call 800-506-2641. That's 800-506-2641. Promo code KMC. 800-506-2641. And use the promo code KMC.
Brand new from beloved author Ivan Quinones comes a new children's book, Magnificent Ian and the Secret Lab, available now in paperback or Kindle from the Amazon Marketplace. One satisfied parent said, "The story is quite intriguing. The way it develops leaves you waiting for the next adventure. Magnificent Ian is such a fun book. I would highly recommend it for children grades 2 through 5. Another said, "I barely got the book out of the package and my son immediately grabbed it and ran off to read it." In Magnificent Ian and the Secret Lab, Ian finds a secret lab in the middle of an active volcanic island, run by a crazy scientist who tasks him with widening a secret tunnel. There's suspense, action, adventure, and a lesson about integrity. Available now on the Amazon Marketplace and the Amazon Kindle store. Magnificent Ian and the Secret Lab from author Ivan Quinones in paperback and Kindle form. Get your copy today. Magnificent Ian and the Secret Lab.
Once again, from New York, here's Radio Night Live and Kevin McCullough.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's from a movie that was released just a few weeks ago and has quickly taken the world by storm. Very still relevant for the LA Rams as they're in the Super Bowl just a week from tomorrow. From American Underdog, here is Vince Gill and Mickey Guyton and Love Changes Everything.
I'm Brenda.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Brenda.
Turns a poor boy into a king. Rock a baby on a front porch swing. And the church bells ring and ring. Love changes. Love changes everything. Makes you put the whiskey down. Dries the tears of a lonely clown. Spend all your money on your honey downtown. As the jukebox sings, love changes everything. Love can break your heart and heal your soul. Warm the winter years when you're gray and old. When you start to fall, backs against the wall. Makes you fly, fly, fly with a broken wing. Makes you drive all night. Say I'm sorry when you've had a fight. All you wanna do is make it right. You'll do anything. Oh, anything. Oh, anything. Love can break your heart, heal your soul. Warm the winter years when you're gray and old. When you start to fall, backs against the wall. Makes you fly, fly, fly with a broken wing. It was gonna be just me and you. Life don't work out like you wanted to. You always said the only way to make it through is to believe. So I believe. Love changes. Love changes everything.
Love Changes Everything from Vince Gill and Mickey Guyton, African-American country artist that you're going to hear a lot more about in the days to come. That's the end of our number one for Radio Night Live tonight. We've got a big ladies' lounge straight ahead. It's Wellness Night with Dr. Nicole Sapphire. And a little bit later, KT McFarland is back with some concerning news about Russia. That's all coming up in hour number one. Plus, back to the Music Spotlight stage with more music from Vince Gill when we continue. That's it for hour number one. Get the podcast anywhere you can find Radio Night Live.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I ended up getting a cold after Thanksgiving. And usually it always goes to my chest. Not even a usually, it just always goes to my chest. And I end up having to go to the doctor. This time I took 9 of the Balance of Nature for 2 days, and it totally cleared up. I was very impressed because every time I've gotten a cold for the past 5 years, it goes into my chest. And it didn't. It cleared up right away.
Don't wait to see what getting over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables every day can do for you. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order of fruits and veggies. Start your journey to better health today by calling 1-800-2468-751 or by going to balanceofnature.com and make sure to receive this special radio offer by using discount code KMC.
And